is Playhavock Deep Time. Okay, so this whole subject about automating KOL has come up, and to be honest, we've had automation for KOL for quite some time. Mafia's been around for a while, and we've all used it at one point or another. Well, not everybody, but a lot. Those who have used it have probably used it once or twice to automate a portion of the game, and there are a variety now of scripts publicly available to ascend your character. It's possible to set Mafia to log in automatically when it starts, and it's possible to make Windows, or I suppose Macintosh, automatically start Mafia for you. So, you can have the game play itself. There is a game, and it's not even really a game, it's a simulator that I saw once that just said, here's your character, and here's all the equipment that it's earning, and the gold that it's collecting, and the monsters that it's defeating. And it just went from level 1 to an infinite level until you stopped running the program. That's essentially what you're doing if you're automating the game. Games that are open play like World of Warcraft, MapleStory, Guild Wars, and others, where there is no restriction on how long you can play, Diablo 2 would be another example, are a no bot policy game. There's two reasons for that. One is because it really hurts the players that are playing normally. You can't compete with the robot. The other reason is that it hurts the in-game economy when you have items that are normally hard to get easily obtainable. It's conceivable that if a large majority of the KOL population was running bots, that prices on usually hard to obtain items would begin to go down. Ultra rares are hard to get no matter what, and there's no way to conceivably farm them. But if enough bots were running the game, it's conceivable that enough ultra rares would be generated that the prices would begin to go down. This could hurt. Ascension bots could hurt the normal player if Ascension bots became sophisticated enough to compete with humans. If a bot could be programmed to do a 2 or 3 day Ascension run, it would be probably frowned upon because people would say, you know what, I can't compete with the robot that can always log in, never has to miss a day, never has to worry about anything. It's also conceivable that a bot could be created that lives on a server that never goes offline. So no computer is required at all. So now you would be competing with a robot that never not has internet, as long as that server is available. And if it's a very stable server, then you have every possibility that if your power goes off, that's something that you miss that the bot won't miss. So the negative side is there is a potential that bots could begin to compete with real players. There is a potential that bots, even though KOL is turn-based, could begin to hurt the economy like bots do in other games. But I have to ask this question to those people that really would hand over their account for all time to a bot, or for a large time to a bot to play. You're not really playing the game anymore. What's the point? Now you might say, well, I want to generate meat. Okay. Why? Because you want something. Alright. Did you earn it? No. So you won't have the same sort of satisfaction as you would if you had done it yourself. if I go on eBay, I can buy a KOL account. Um, I don't get any benefit really, other than being like, well, I instantly have gratification of everything I ever wanted. Let's just say that tomorrow I inherited Werebear's account, which has an insanely huge amount of stuff on it. Well, it would be cool and fun for a couple of days, but I think that the novelty would wear out. When you hit the lotto, there is that initial rush, and it certainly changes your life forever. But I think that it means more if you earn that money rather than win that money. We'd all love to win the lotto, and we all imagine how much easier life would be if we did. But I think we all do realize that if we did win the lotto, that the first couple of days would be a huge rush, and then it would be back to pretty much mundane paying the bills and making sure that we don't get taxed to death. Items in the game aren't really real. We have to establish that as a precedent and remember that things are not valuable. It is what you do with those things that is. Even the most antisocial person recognizes that if they had everything in the game would essentially be over. There would be nothing left to do. If you were level 9 million, had max number of every conceivable item, and every single skill hardcore permed, and could do ascensions in one day, what would there be left to do? Nothing. The only thing left for you would be to give away that stuff in games or contests, which might be fun for a while, but eventually that too would get dull and repetitive. And I suppose somebody could write a bot to do that for you. The way it stands, I understand the need for automation to an extent. And I understand that somebody doesn't want to feel like they're not doing something with time that they could be doing something, and that leaving in an account to go to real life, which is far, far more important than any game, feels like abandoning a project that could automate itself, and that when you returned, you would suddenly find yourself with all this stuff that you wouldn't have otherwise had. But again, would it really feel like you had accomplished anything? And now that you have way more stuff that you really didn't earn, what would you do with it all? I don't have any particular solution for this issue, and I do think that it will become more and more of a pressing issue as time goes by. And I suppose one day Jick and Company might have to outlaw bots, or at least limit them in some respects. But if you're automating a game, you're not really playing it. Let me tell you a quick story before I close. Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep had a experience walk skill. If your character walked, you gained experience. I taped down the controller so that during nighttime, I would gain levels. When I got back to it, the game was a lot easier to beat because I had done that. I'm glad that I was able to beat the game sooner, but I do kind of feel like I missed out on something. Honestly, the game shouldn't have been so hard that I felt like I had to level up in that way to beat it. It should have had some sort of way for me to level up a little bit easier, a little bit faster, or some gear and or equipment that I could have gotten that would have helped me to beat the game without leveling up to insane levels. I leveled up about 3 times, which if I played normally would have been 4 or 5 hours worth of work. I think that those 4 or 5 hours worth of work would have been more satisfying to me when I beat the game. But the game honestly should have been designed so that I didn't have to invest that much time in it. KOL is essentially designed so that you don't have to spend that much time in it to do anything, even ascend. But if you're looking at it and you're saying to yourself, I can't not play this game, then it's no longer a game, it's an addiction. That's all I've got for you. Take care and peace out.